Welcome back to Voice of Students.
Powered by Onada Local Part-Time Jobs.
In 2016 episode of Dave Ramsey show, Ramsey spoke about the amount of US citizens facing students' loan debt. US citizens have $1.3 trillion in students' loan debt. Here are some negative results. 29% of student loan borrowers are putting off marriage. 43% of student loan borrowers are putting off starting a family, and 73% are delaying savings for retirement. This is real. What is your opinion on these stats?
Well, I think it kind of highlights a problem of how education is kind of, the whole system is in America. It's kind of an equal system. It's based on how much money you have, not on your skills or your ability. I feel like I don't really know what the solution to this would be because I don't really know enough about economics and education, but I feel like it's definitely something we need to address.
Yeah, I've heard like a very popular complaint recently has been that the middle class, well, the people who are in between the wealthy and the poor don't get any money. So where I was fortunate enough to get all those loans, and someone else who is wealthy is fortunate enough to have their parents pay for everything, you have a lot of middle class people who are stuck with a ton of debt, little financial aid, plus their parents aren't giving them any money to support them. So there are a lot of people, probably where that 29% comes. I feel it really depends what class you're coming from, what background you're coming from. That all impacts what kind of money was available to you, whether you have private loans or federal loans. Private loans have much higher interest rates and they want their money right away. Their main goal is to cash out. It's not the same type of loans that I have, where it's low interest and long term. So I could see why people would put marriage off and try to get those paid off, because their numbers are rising every day. Every breath they take, they're getting paid and charged another penny of interest.
Right. So for you two personally, have you ever been in a situation where you have considered putting something that's large in your life, an event, off because of loans that you've had to pay?
Not me personally, but I have known some people. Like I have family members, for example, who they were actually international students who came to the U.S. to study, and they actually started paying off a lot of their loans. So I do know there's thousands of dollars in debt still, and it's still difficulty that they face every day when thinking about their lives. So I know that for a lot of people it is something that kind of it's the focus of their whole life. It kind of holds them back from a lot of other things.
I feel like I could have easily been in the same situation or putting something off if I chose to go out of state, to go to University of Alabama or a big name school in Florida in the sun. I feel like I made a responsible choice for myself, where yes, like Gavin said earlier, I missed out on not being able to go to a huge football school or be in better weather, which I might have liked more. But for me personally, I chose the best route for me financially, and I did the same for law school as well. So instead of choosing, some law schools have the tuition rates of $52,000 a year, I figure it's an investment in yourself. Rutgers in-state tuition is only $25,000, and they have also offered me a partial scholarship. So I feel like what's important to me is not having all that debt.
Does your family, when you said your family is paying for your tuition, so do you feel your family is stressed about the tuition that they are paying for your school?
Well, I feel like, yeah, to an extent, it's definitely kind of a thing that they have to focus on. My parents are both kind of concerned with making sure that they can kind of provide for me and my brother. He's actually a senior in high school right now, so he's looking into different schools, he's applied to different schools and is trying to hear back, waiting for kind of his acceptances and trying to figure out where to go. So I think for them it is kind of a factor. They're kind of focusing on making sure they can provide from us, but I think it does definitely add stress in their lives as well.
Yeah, and going off that perspective, I think as a mother, and one day myself in the future, I think about my own children. What is it going to be like for them having a lawyer as a mother, sorry. like what type of financial aid will be available to them? What type of debt will they accrue? How will I be worried about my children? Will they be able to go to their dream school out of state? So even though I'm not at that stage of of my life yet, I kind of wonder about the future and how I will feel about my children someday.
Okay.
So does the thought of paying your loans back pressure you in certain ways to get a high-paying job right out of college, even though it's been proven to be a little harder for college graduates to get, you know, a high-paying salary right away? So does that put a certain amount of pressure on you?
Personally, not me. I could absolutely see why other people may feel that way, since if you're taking a federal loan out, they do payment options and they work with you, so you could pay as little as 10% of your income, no matter what that income is. But for people with private loans, like I said, they do not care what you make, where you are in your life. If you take out a private loan, they are out to get you, where a federal loan works with you better. And I feel like I'm not as stressed or feel pressured to get a high-paying job because I know that the loans I took out were taken out very responsibly, and no matter where I work, I am eligible for the income-driven plan to repay it.
Yeah, I actually also only have federal loans, so I don't have to deal with. I do know the private loans also offer some problems. Like my family members that do struggle with their financial aid have private loans, and I understand how even after you finish the college, even once you do have a job, it can still kind of hold you back because it does impact your credit score as well. So for example, if you want to get a loan, get credit cards, if you need to buy a car, buy a house, things like that, you might need like major life decisions, it can kind of hold you back from that as well. So I feel like that could also be a stressor, and that these loans from your education, even like 10, 15 years down the line, could still be holding you back.
Right.
It's so sad.
Thank you for your answers. We would be concluding this week's VOS, which is powered by Onata Part-Time Jobs.
Thank you guys so much for your great answers. We're signing off, and we'll be back next week with some more interesting topics. If you're a college student looking to participate, please go to www.onata.com/VOS.
Voice of Students, powered by Onata, local part-time jobs.